series. This is actually a lovely title, Rape, Sexism, Life and Death. There are two parts of this that talks about, I worked as an acquaintance rape workshop facilitator for years, and so I have a lot of stories and a lot of experience in dealing with that. And I was almost killed and recovering from. So I've got lots of, but I'm not going to do the death stuff. I'm going to do the women's issues stuff for you. And a couple of these poems also have translations into Slovak. I can't read that, so you're going to get the English part only. This is verses 2 and 6 of the poem Right There by Your Heart. Have you ever had that feeling before? You know, the one where someone's telling you something that you don't want to hear, like someone's going to tell you that someone had died and you knew what they were going to say and you still didn't want to hear it. Or if someone did something to you that you didn't like when you were little and the kids at the bus stop shot pebbles and spitballs at you every day because you were smart and you still had to go to school and go to that bus stop every morning and just try to ignore them. And when that happens, it feels like a medium-sized rock just fell into the bottom of your stomach, and you don't want to move because you're afraid that that rock will hurt the inside of your stomach, and so you just have to sit there and hope that that rock goes away. Or else you get that feeling like in your chest, right between your lungs. It feels like someone is pressing on the bone there, right there by your heart, and you can't breathe. You've got to be able to do something. You're not going to be able to take that pressure, that force any longer. I don't know how many times the idea of seeing him went through my mind. At least once a week, I'd imagine a scene where he'd confront me, and I'd somehow be able to fight him back, to show him that he didn't bother me anymore, to show him that that rock wasn't there anymore, to somehow be able to prove that I wasn't a victim anymore. I was a survivor. That's what they call it, you see, survivor, because victim sounds too trying for someone who's been raped. So I keep saying that I'm over it, but then I keep imagining Mark all over again, not raping me, but following me on the street, coming to my door with flowers, or sending me a valentine. But once, when I saw him walking into a record store I was about to walk out of, and that rock fell so hard, like I was brought the whole time that I thought I was going to be sick right there by that cash register, right there by those metal things at the doorway that beep when you try to take merchandise out of the store. You know what those things are, I just can't think of what they're called. But if I did that, he'd know that he was still winning to this day. How many years has it been? How many years since he did that to me? How many years since I've been wanting to fight him, since I've been feeling that rock in my stomach? I managed to hide my face from him in the store so he didn't see me as he walked out. When I saw that he was gone, I wondered why I still felt that pressure in my chest. I thought that pressure was going to turn my body inside out. I reached for my heart, grabbed at my shirt. Maybe the pain was always there, right there by my heart, but I try not to think of it until I go through times like those. Yay, women's issues, sorry. This one is called Confident Women. I met up with an old friend of mine for drinks last week. I knew her in high school, although we weren't close friends then. In those days, she needed therapy, had problems with drugs, I think, or else it was just family problems. I was a bit insecure myself, shy, meek, scared of life. Since those days, we've matured. We're now more independent, self-confident, self-assured women. It was good to see her again. She had just come back from a camping in Australia. Although physically I had gone nowhere, we both had our stories to tell over a bottle or two of wine. And we gossiped. She told me of the handsome Australian man she fell for. I told her of the roller coaster I call my romantic life. And we laughed. And then the gossip changed. Her voice lowered and sounding stern but quiet. She told me of how a man broke into her apartment one night last summer and he tried to rape her. And after kicking and screaming in her underwear, she managed to break free and her attacker escaped. She told me that they found the man, and the trial is scheduled for later in the month. She sat there with her wine glass in her hand, looking so confident, as if she knew she had won this battle. Trying to not sound corny, I told her I could give her a hug, and she leaned on my shoulder, and she cried, hiccuping as she tried to catch her breath. They would make her recount everything on the stand, she said, and the defense lawyers would make her sound promiscuous because she slept alone in her underwear. I told her I would go with her to the trial. I told her she's winning by speaking out. Self-assured women, confident women. How confident are we supposed to be? More humorous one. This is called Thank You, Women Who Work, number 1. It starts with a quote from a letter to women from Pope John Paul II. On July 10th, he said, "Thank you, women who work. In this way, you make an indispensable contribution to the growth of a culture which unites reason and feeling to a model of life ever open to the sense of mystery. Thank you, women who work, because you take on the responsibilities of men while still having to be mothers, wives, good little daughters, and feminine creatures. Thank you, women who work, because you are the ones that we can blame when the family falls apart. Thank you, women who work, because you make a point to do more than your fair share without being paid fairly, even though no man would ever do the same for you. Thank you, women who work, for you know you have to prove yourselves over and over and over again, and when that's still not going to be enough, so keep up the good work, ladies." Thank you. Yeah.